where you scream, don't watch that, watch this, and I'll dive down through this hairy flesh.
Hi, and welcome to Watch This. I'm CJ Johnson. Thanks for joining me. I've got a television experience for you to watch, The Girlfriend Experience.
You're beautiful.
Say it.
I'm beautiful.
You must know as well as I do that everyone can be influenced.
This is not right on so many levels.
The first season was easily my favourite TV series of 2016. It was inspired by Steven Soderbergh's film of the same name from 2009 and followed a young law intern's exposure to and gradual embracing of a very particular form of high-end prostitution. The story was sordid. Most of the men in particular were venal, at times abhorrent, but it was a classy production all the way. Riley Keough gave literally a star-making performance. She is now well on the way to becoming a movie star of the highest order. The direction and writing from series creators Amy Seimetz and Kerrigan was cold, clinical, precise and terrifying, using Kubrickian camera setups and David Lynchian sound effects to make every shot a portent of doom. Hotel room corridors, open-plan workplaces, and building foyers all simultaneously evoked absolute generic banality and somehow a circle of hell. It was simply outstanding, and also, thrillingly, it was an absolute drama, or perhaps a thriller, being told over 13 episodes in the half-hour format, traditionally used by comedy. While there were occasionally incredibly sly, dry, dark moments of mischief, The Girlfriend Experience was by no stretch a comedy. Now, we have season 2. I've seen the first 4 episodes and so far, so great. Seimetz and Kerrigan are back at the helm, so the series has aesthetic continuity, and its aesthetic is a huge part of what makes it so fantastic. But there are big changes. Riley Keough is no longer in it, nor is her character Christine. Now we have 2 different storylines told alternately. One set in Washington, D.C., written and directed by Kerrigan, and one in New Mexico, written and directed by Amy Seimetz. Kerrigan's story feels more directly connected to the first season, in that one of his 2 lead female characters is doing extremely similar work to Christine's in tonally and aesthetically similar settings: cold, empty hotels, workspaces and apartments, while Seimetz's feels a little different, telling the story of an ex-prostitute re-entering the life while in a witness protection program in New Mexico. Just that different setting alone sets it apart from the cold urbanity of the other stories. In case you're wondering, the image behind me is from the first storyline set in Washington, D.C., Kerrigan's storyline. Seimetz and Kerrigan combined their work on the first season, so it's really fascinating to see their different writing, and in particular, their different directing styles, snap into much clearer focus here. Kerrigan's style, the one behind me, turns out to most fully embrace that Kubrickian Lynchian aesthetic I've referred to, bordering on self-parody at times. His locations are so austere as to almost be absurd or deliberately surreal, featuring apartments with barely any furniture, offices and restaurants with barely any patrons. This is a director who wastes no money on employing extras or background music. By contrast, Seimetz's story is a little bit warmer, her shooting a little more conventional, and her main character, Bria, is a little more human. Kerrigan's characters deliver their dialogue impassively on the whole, but Seimetz's seem to be allowed at least a few emotions. It is all fascinating, brave stuff that pushes boundaries and buttons. It's set in 2018 during the United States midterm elections, so there's some scary North American political content as well. It is a bummer not to have Riley Keough around, there's no doubt about that, but so far I am fully on board for season 2. I totally recommend it to adults. There is very, very, very high sexual content and very adult themes. After all, at the end of the day, it's about prostitution in all of its forms. It's called The Girlfriend Experience, and you can catch Season 2 now wherever you catch your television. If you like the look of what's behind me right now, there is a lot more of that where this came from, and needless to say, this is not safe to watch at work. You've been watching Watch This with CJ Johnson.
Will you do something for me?
Yes.
Anything?
Yes.